Hi, Adrian.
Hi, Joe.
Thank you for coming to beautiful Red Bank, New Jersey today.
You're very welcome.
I just want to get to know you better.
Okie dokie.
So, tell us who you are. Tell me about your background. Yeah, tell us who you are. And why are we sitting here together today?
Okay. I am a former teacher, 21 years. And a couple years ago, I decided that I needed to change it up a bit. And I got my license in real estate 2018 and did it like part-time-ish, but nothing really happened.
Yeah.
And then last year, I decided that it was worth a shot to do it full-time.
And how did you find Oz Group?
On Indeed.com.
That's true.
It is true.
That's crazy. What do you know? What the years are kind of running together for me. Like, I don't know. Does that just happen as you get older? Like, I don't know. But like so when did you join Oz Group?
March
of last year.
2023.
That's
Yes.
crazy.
Yes.
Do you know why I say that's crazy? It's because I feel like I've known you much longer. I don't know if that's reciprocal at all, but like March 2023. That's wild. So it's been a little over a year.
Yep.
And what's your experience been like?
Not what I expected.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Well, when I tried before, there was the other brokerage I was with was very little support, kind of like old school. I would go in on the weekends and sit at a desk to answer a phone, and nobody was there. The lights were all out, and the phone never rang.
Wow. Okay.
I actually never even looked at a contract until I started here
Wow.
with you guys.
So, okay, so if you got licensed in 2018, and then you decided to give it another try in 2023.
Yeah,
That's a long time. That's like 5 years, right?
Yeah.
If I'm doing math good, you know?
that's right.
I would think that someone would feel kind of like discouraged by the experience. What made you think like it would be different the second time around? Or you must have been super skeptical trying it again, correct?
Yes. Honestly, I was looking for alternatives to teaching, and there is, unless you go for another degree, like a master's in something, administration or counseling, or there really is not much there for an education degree. And so I had planned on doing this like when I retired, and I figured, why not try it sooner than later?
Cool. And what drew you to real estate? What was it about?
It's still helping people.
Yeah.
Like that's in me,
Yes.
to help people.
Yes.
And now I know it even more by doing it for the past year. It's like a joyful helping people, and it comes back to you in referrals and
Yes. Yeah.
reviews and stuff like that. So,
What about that review we played yesterday, that video testimonial?
Joe, another Joe.
Yeah. That was really cool. Can I tell you, like, oh my God. I'm a high I in disc profile. I'm like emotional, right? So I can get.
Yeah.
I also like to be vulnerable with people I feel comfortable being vulnerable with. But that made me so happy and so proud to see that gentleman talking about you.
Yeah.
And so, can I tell you this? When we were preparing that training, that we did a training yesterday on the NAR settlement, and like Oz Group, we revamped our buyer presentation. And when we were revamping that buyer, all that stuff's brand new, right? So much time and effort into that thing, if you can imagine. Like, you're a teacher, right? Like,
Yes.
there's 30 hours into that easily, right? And so, like, when we were creating that buyer presentation, I said to Lauren, I'm like, hey, let's do it. Let's do Adrian. Let's just make Adrian's. Like, let's do Adrian's. And then and I'm like, it would be killer if she can get a video testimonial. And that's not hard to do. That's not easy to do, man. It's an uncomfortable ask, right? Like, go to your client and be like, hey, it's hard to ask for a review, let alone like, hey, can you turn your phone around and talk about how awesome I am for 1 minute to 2 minutes? And so we were presenting on our buyer presentation yesterday, and then we were doing so many changes last minute and adding in new things, and I said to Lauren, I'm like, hey, can you get, and I just, as I was doing that presentation yesterday, I had assumed that because I didn't see that link in there. I assumed it wasn't in there. It never happened. We didn't get it, or whatever reason, it just didn't make it for that training. And then when Lauren's like, "Hey Joe, I think there's a link in there that you can click," and she like
A secret link.
yeah, we like are sharing a brain. And then when I hit that, to hear that gentleman talk about his experience with you, he talked about he had a lot. I watched it again last night, and he talked about how he had experience buying and selling houses. He talked about challenges he had during his purchase, and he talked about how you like nailed it through all those challenges, and that was really that must make you feel good to hear that and see that, right?
Yeah,
That's kind of what you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know it at the time when I was doing it, but he shared it with me at the closing, and he said that because he was a Zillow lead,
right?
And he said that when they met me, that we saw one property together. When they met me, they didn't have any plans of like they didn't have a realtor. They didn't. And he said when he got in the car with his wife, he said, "She's the one." And then that was it. And then we worked together. Very briefly, we found something. And so he let me know that. And that,
awesome.
That meant a lot.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think when it gets to a certain point, money's awesome, right? Like getting paid. We need money to pay our bill. Money's good for the good that money can do, right? So like it's taking care of your family and maybe giving away to, whatever you want to support. But when that is just that needs to happen no matter what. But the giving back and the helping people is really the rewarding part, I would say. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's cool. What do you think it is? Like what do you think it is? What's your secret power? Why is it that they can meet you and then they're in the car and they're like, that's our person?
I try to make a connection.
Yeah.
I try to make a connection. I listen to what they're saying and I try to grab anything that I hear them say that I can relate to. So his wife was a teacher. He was saying something about his kids in college, and I asked what college they went to, and they went to TC&J, and my daughter was going to TC&J.
Oh.
So I try to find, if I see their area code on their phone, if it's 201, I know that's Hudson County.
That's right.
I'm from Hudson County, Jersey City, so I'll say,
JC.
where are you from? And as soon as you're both, and he was from Jersey City, grew up on Communipaw, an area that I know, and so as soon as we got that Jersey City connection, that's it, Jersey City. We stick together.
Yeah, that's a big deal, especially Jersey City. Like I'm sure when you grew up there, right? That's nothing but community there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys all know the same streets and restaurants and people and things like that.
Yep.
That's awesome. All right, cool. All right. Let's hear about the family. How do you balance being a mom and a full-time real estate agent?
Well, I've been a mom for a very, very long time. You know that.
Sure.
Before I was in a career.
Mm-hmm. And, how many kids do you have? How old? Let's talk about it. Because there's gonna be millions of listeners that are gonna hear this, of course,
lovely,
right? Yeah.
Lovely.
So what? Yeah, because you are gonna be famous. By the way, I hope that Miles gonna listen to it, right? I hope maybe you mention me in your book one day. Hopefully, who will see. But so, what? Yeah, how many kids? How old? Tell us about that.
Okay, so the oldest is 23. She's older than I was when I had her. Then I have a soon-to-be 19-year-old. She's in college. She's in New York.
Congrats.
A soon-to-be 16-year-old, high school. And then I have a 11-year-old.
Wow. Cool. So what's that like? That's a lot of kids.
I love it.
Are some of them taking care of themselves, or some of them like is it? And there's a saying one of my old coaches used to say. He was relating it to business, but I think we can relate it to ages of children. He said, with every level, there's a new devil, right? So like you graduate to, there's different challenges. Can you talk about that?
Challenges? Well, once they become, free on their own, like in New York, it is terrifying.
Is that the 23-year-old is in New York? The 19-year-old's in New York?
She'll be 19.
Does she go to school in New York?
She goes to school of
Where's she go to school?
School of Visual Arts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What? That's really cool, huh?
Yeah.
So you're like, yeah, so go ahead. Tell us. Like,
she's just there. She's in New York, and you could look at the location on the phone, and you're like, holy crap. And she told me she had an assignment. She had to sketch people. So her and her friend went to a park and were sketching people. And
Yeah, why are you in Harlem right now? Please get back to the village or wherever they're living, right?
yes, it's in Manhattan.
Sure.
But you have to let them go, and you have to let them do it. And my oldest is home, but going to school, like commuting, and she'll be done next year. She's gonna be a teacher, ironically.
Wow. So the 19 and 23 are both girls, right? Females? Yep. Is it true, when I was 19 and 23, I was kind of a ding-dong. Do you think it's true that maybe it's a little bit easier with girls, maybe? Do you think guys
No.
boys are... No. Nothing.
Because you have to be afraid of the boys.
Totally
to the
right.
girls.
Yeah. Oh my God, you're right. Oh
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, I never thought about that. You have ding dongs like me chasing them around. Right?
Exactly.
When you're 23.
Exactly.
Holy, that's crazy. So what is it like? Is it and what I'm asking from curiosity. So is it are you able? So you said you were going to do real estate when you retired, right? And
Yes.
but you're like, hey, you know what? I want to do it now because I'm not loving teaching, right? Whatever that looks like. And so now, is it because the kids are older that maybe it has freed up some time? Or is it like, is managing both kind of difficult or easier? Can you walk us through that?
Literally exactly what I was, yeah. It is easier because they're older. I don't have to worry about necessarily somebody picking up someone or, going to ballet or because my kids, some of them are driving,
Yes.
I can juggle much easier. I told you I was in Barnegat last night. I didn't get home until like 8:30. I didn't have to worry about giving somebody a bath so because they're older, it's definitely 100% easier. I think if I did it when they were younger, it would have posed a little bit more trouble, especially we still lived in North Jersey at that time, and I was pretty much on my own, like no real support system.
Right.
So I don't think I would have been able to do it.
Got it.
I don't think I would have been able to do it.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you're able to do it now. What challenges did you face when starting in real estate? I think you kind of started to talk about that, right? So it just, it's probably super important it's like anything in life, who you align with, where you align, what that looks like. And you were saying that you were at another brokerage where you were they wanted you to sit and answer the phones on the weekends, but the phone wasn't ringing and there was nobody there. Kind of like tumbleweeds, right?
Pretty much. Yeah. No like handout in any sort of way. No even like, hey, I might have somebody. It was just like find it on your own, and
yeah, good luck.
and I had no idea what to do because I never did it before. So it was you don't know what you don't know.
That's that unconscious incompetence, right? Yeah. Like, so, yeah, you don't know what you don't know. And then, yeah, it's a bummer. In real estate, in real estate in general, like brokerage, whatever, team leads, whoever's in charge has over-promised and under-delivered on like the leads, the training, and the support at a really high level. And we do what we do because I've been able to, before we were doing this thing, I ran other real estate offices, and I would see people just come in that were their lives could change. Like, they could be great real estate agents. They could help a lot of people, but we weren't really allowed to. I worked at another brokerage, and I had a leadership position. We weren't like allowed. I would recruit them, and then I would promise to like help them, and then as soon as they came in, my boss would be like, "Why are you talking to them?" I'm like, "Well, I told them I would help them with their business." And like, "No, you got to go recruit more." And so it's just made to like a lot of these brokerages. It's so deceiving, right? And I guess that's why we do what we do, because we just want to give so much to the agents, because I've been there like, what do I do now? Or I'd ask for help, or I'd go to a broker that I knew more than, and so you're the sum of the 5 people that you surround yourself with and those things. And I would just see people come in. I'm like, wow, that guy's going to be good, or that person's going to be really great. And, but you just got to pour into them. Like, the grass is green where it gets watered, right? Like, that's it. And so, that's great to hear. So, what does a typical day look like for you, routine-wise?
It's very typical.
Okay. Are you a structured person?
Yes.
Are you a time-blocked person? What's important that needs to happen? What things do you put first?
I am a routine person.
Good. Yeah.
I
That's
like
what I want. Yeah.
I like to know. I like repetition. So every day during like the work week, is very typical. Wake up, get the kids ready for school, do a couple of chores, empty the dishwasher, then I sit down with breakfast and do follow boss and, go to my tasks and yada, yada, yada. And then if I have any appointments, I'll, do the appointments, or maybe I have to run some errands. Run the errands that I have to do, and try to throw in some sort of exercise there.
It's awesome.
It's just like a typical dinner bed, dinner TV bed. And
So what I hear here is like structure is important, right? Mm-hmm. And then success is boring, right? It's the like being like fit, like eating egg whites and going to the gym is not exciting stuff, right? So like what I did here is that, like you said, follow boss. That's like your follow. Like, so in the morning, like eat the frog, golden hour stuff. Like do the important stuff early, right? Mm-hmm. Make your phone calls. Would you say that's why you're so successful? Is because you make your phone calls? Probably.
I try to build relationships and not like
right.
Like I said, I try to make a connection. So if I know that somebody said, "Oh, so and so is having an interview," I'll follow up in that way.
Yeah.
Oh, how'd the interview go?
Or, that's gold.
Not necessarily like, look at this house, look at this house, look at this house, look at this house. Just more,
I think that's huge. That's a huge nugget, right? So like if someone's going on an interview, you say, "How's that interview?"
Yeah. Or on a vacation. How was the vacation? Did you guys have a good time?
Yeah. How was
pictures.
Florida? Right. Yeah. That's huge. I think a lot of people miss that part because we do business because we get into a relationship with people. And people feel comfortable being in a relationship with you, they're probably going to transact with you, right?
Yeah.
And I think the wild part about real estate is, and why so many consumers have a really bad experience is, you don't know how good your agent is until you're in it.
Yeah.
Right? Like the stuff doesn't hit the fan, or the challenges don't start happening. Well, this is what we talk about. And this is like a script that I didn't share yesterday that it just came to my head is like, you're not hiring me to open doors. You're hiring me to get you to the closing table and navigate all the challenges that happen. Like, oh my God, in our Slack channel, it's like, this is leased land. There's an encroachment. There's this. There's oh my God, the seller owes the HOA $20,000 and they're going to try to split that with the buyer. Like all these crazy things can happen. And people don't really realize that they had a crappy transaction or lost money or any of these things until it's over, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the wildest part about real estate is like, you can't, there's reviews now and things like that. And a lot of consumers don't interview 3 realtors, which I think everyone should, right? And until you find, or at least keep interviewing until you find something that you're comfortable with. Do you have any specific time management tools that you use to keep yourself on track?
Yes, it's a learning process right now, but I use Google Calendar, and I have, which I've always had, is I have a large dry erase calendar in my kitchen, which I've had that.
Yeah, that's for like kid stuff.
It's
too,
for
right?
everything.
Like soccer's this day or whatever you're picking up.
And even everybody puts stuff on it, so I'll know, like if my husband's working late, or I just can go in the kitchen and it's right there in the kitchen so that everybody sees it, even if it's a hair appointment.
I love it.
Mommy hair, everybody knows what is going on.
Can I ask you? This just popped in my head. How did you do chores in your house?
When I was a kid?
No.
Oh.
Well, no, I know you did chores when you were a kid.
Yeah, I hated it.
No, your kids, right? So like, because what happens is at the end of the night, I'm like, I look down at Milo has a few chores, right, Milo? Milo's in the podcast studio. What are your chores?
My chores are, I have to feed the dog, give the dog water. I have to sometimes take out the trash. It depends if it's full or not. I have to wipe down the table, clear the table. And that's it.
That's it. So but we don't track it. Does that make sense? Like speaking of structure, we just like, when it's time to go to bed, I just look at the water. Did you have something like that, like hanging up?
No.
I think I should do that.
They're a little bit spoiled, my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dude, I was with a realtor I was having dinner with a realtor, like a big, mega, super duper realtor, and she was telling me, she's like, I had to cut my I'm not gonna say any names. She had like adult children, and she's like, I had to cut my kids off of. They like live at home. They're like, I had to cut my kids off of my Grubhub account or my DoorDash account. They spent $100,000 on DoorDash in the last 12 months.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, whoa, that's crazy. Wouldn't that be nice? Just have a free DoorDash account.
No.
Just get Chipotle all the time.
No.
All right, cool. Yeah, chores. Can you share a memorable experience or a success story from your real estate career that you've really just been doing for like a year and a month or two, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, that really is awesome how you shared that. You're like, oh, I had a license. You're like, I didn't even see a contract until I joined Oz Group, right? That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That makes me feel good. Yeah, I'm glad.
You showed us a contract, and we had to learn how to complete a contract before we even got to get out there.
That was the first week, right?
Yeah.
That's wild, man. And I think that's a homework thing, too, during onboarding.
Mm-hmm.
I think I haven't been onboarding in a minute, but, like, I think on Thursday. But that's what we hear from agents is like, oh, I never saw a contract. It's like, what? That's crazy. Do you know the feeling of, like, oh, okay, I'm ready to make an offer? And you're like,
Yeah.
so can I share a story?
Go
So
ahead.
I remember the first house I sold was in Deal Lake Towers in Asbury Park,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And it was a lead from my office.
Uh-huh.
And I went and showed this house. And it was this dude, it was a hairdresser from New York. And he came down on the train. This is 2000, Milo, can you chill? This is 2008, 2009. You're being great, Milo. That's the least of our worries. It was 2008, 2009, and he came down, and this was when Asbury was like not awesome, right? Like it was like kind of weird still, and this guy was like, I just showed him like 3 condos, and he was like, we were in the elevator, and he's like, he brought his dog with him. I remember. He's like, all right, I'll take that one. And I was like, what? I was so scared. I didn't know what to do next at all. And I was like, holy crap. So I had to stall, right? Did you ever see the movie Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
Yes.
Do you remember it well at all?
Is that the one with the they go skiing
No, that's Ski School. Wait.
with the guys that I want my $3?
That's John Cusack. That is you know what movie she's talking about. It has the David Lee Roth song "Everybody Wants Some," I think.
What's the fast? Give me
So that's
scene.
Spicoli. Spicoli. It's Spicoli, a scene. Oh my god, I could give you.
Because then I'll be able to remember it probably.
Well, let me just say this: there's a scene in the movie where it's like a high schoolers or whatever.
Yeah.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High. The other movie, the one with John Cusack, where they go skiing, and the tagline is "I want my $2."
It was the newspaper boy.
Yeah.
Better Off Dead.
Better Off Dead. Yeah, that's it. Totally.
I haven't seen Better Off
Yo, watch this. Ready?
That's a good
Pull that up, Ethan.
Dead.
I love it. So anyway, in Fast Times, oh look, you can pull it up. Pull up Fast Times at Ridgemont High, so we can see, so she can see the front of the picture. There it is. Oh my God, he can pull it up. That's so awesome. That's Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Do you remember that movie?
I do, but vaguely. But I
Okay.
do.
Okay.
There's
so,
Sean Penn.
yeah. So in the movie, one of the dudes, he asks the girl that he has a crush on out to dinner, and he leaves his wallet at home, and he has to stall while his buddy brings his wallet, right? So they're just drinking Cokes the whole time or whatever. So basically, back to my story, when the guy said, the dude's name was Steve, and I'll leave his last name out, not that it would really even matter, but he was like, I want to make an offer on this house, and I was like, oh, I'm not authorized to do that. Like, I kind of made up a lie. I was like, I'm not authorized to do that. I need to call my broker to come help me. So I called my broker on my cell phone, and he was like, all right, I'll meet you down there. This is when we did like handwritten contracts, like on like, and he's like, I'll meet you down there. Where are you? And there was a restaurant on Cookman Avenue. It's not there. Well, there's they just changed names, I feel like, but it was there. And I just sat there, and I'm like, oh, let me get you lunch. And we'll like, by the way, buying somebody lunch, I didn't have any money. I was like negative money. Like, you don't get into real estate when you're like loaded rich. You get into real estate when like something else didn't work out, or you're moving on for something. And we sat there for an hour and a half, and my broker showed up and he was like, all right, guys. I'm like, oh, cool. And then he wrote the offer.
Oh my god.
And I was just stressed out for like an hour and a half sitting in a booth with a stranger who like brought his little dog from New York. The guy was super cool. He had to have known I didn't know what I was doing, right? Like he had to have known. I was like in like a suit that I was wearing a suit that I borrowed from my broker. I didn't even like have a suit.
Fake it till you make
Fake
it.
it till you make it. Oh my god, how did we get there? That's so funny. So share with us a win from real estate or a really awesome thing. What's a highlight of like in the last year and 2 months or whatever that looks like?
I would say one of my first ones that I really enjoyed was first time home buyers, young, very young, early 20s, and they were FHA, and they were getting a grant, so it limited some of the houses that they could look at.
Oh right.
A grant for closing, I believe.
Sure.
And the price point that they were at, everybody's at, and we just kept losing. We were doing highest and best, and they were going over, the most that they could. They were just going over, and we kept losing. And we were offering constantly on the houses too. And I, one day, just had an epiphany, and I went on the MLS and I started looking for houses that were on the market for like more than a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I came across a house that was like completely redone inside, and it was in their price point, and it was on the market for like 20 days. I was like, no way. And it was better than anything we'd ever seen. And I called up the listing agent and I asked if there was any flexibility, and she said that there was, and because it was a little bit above what they could.
Right.
And we were able to get it to closing, and it was just such a good feeling because, and they got it a little bit under asking, and it was literally brand new.
Wow.
Like,
so you just found a property that was kind of sitting around, maybe a little stale for whatever reason, it just didn't sell, and then maybe it was a little bit higher than their price point, and then you said, hey, they're a little bit negotiable, and then you brought it in there and you made it all work.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And they were so young, and it just felt so good. They were so happy. They kept looking at each other at the closing table.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was nice.
That's a great story. You got another one? That's the one that you prepared for the podcast.
I could give you another one. I could give you one that closed a couple weeks ago. Another first-time home buyer, a little bit older. They have a 12-year-old son. There was a little bit of a language barrier, but we made it work. I became very, very friendly with their lender, who was able to like help with translating and stuff like that.
Awesome.
And again, same thing, grant for down payment and closing, and FHA.
Wow.
And oh no, they weren't FHA; they were conventional, but they did have grants.
They had 2 grants.
And
those 2 separate grants?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Same thing. We were making offers on houses. We were doing limited inspections, like all of that. And I told them about Forkett River, because we were looking on like Tom's River, Brick, and I said, if we go a little bit down, maybe there won't be as much competition. And they wanted a house with a basement because they have family that comes over to visit from their country, and they stay for extended periods of time. So they wanted something where it could be like, a little bit of privacy, where they could stay for a long period of time and feel comfortable and not be like on top of each other. And so we found a house in Forkett River. They'd never been there before. They didn't even know where it was. And we found just that. We found a house with a basement, with 2 bedrooms in the basement and a living room. Wow. And again, it was on the market for a little while. I didn't pick it because of that. It just happened to be.
Yeah. And
that listing agent actually called me after the showing to see, if we had any interest. And we were able to work it out too with them. It just, and they were so happy. It was their family can come visit. And when we went to the final walkthrough, they were telling me how, he was male, I don't know what to say, the male purchaser, he was saying how his sister is going to move to America and they're going to make the basement like a mother-daughter.
Yeah.
And it just felt so good to know that they work, they saved money, they got their first home, and now their family could come over.
Wow. How does that make you feel?
That was good too. It was, and again, they were working with other people. They were a Zillow lead that was working with other agents. And,
Other crappy agents.
yeah, but they lived.
Other nerds.
They lived in Howell, and so do I.
Mm-hmm.
That.
So that's how we make the connection,
That was the
right?
connection.
Yeah, 100%.
You got to make the
Wait,
connection.
they're nerds like you?
Correct, Milo. So let me ask you this. Good one, Milo. Sick burn. There's a lot to unpack there. So in this market, it's very dynamic. There's very low inventory. It's really hard for a buyer to get exactly what they want. It sounds like you were able to find those people exactly what they were looking for, correct?
Yeah.
How do you do it? Like, what's the
I
secret
don't know.
power?
That, like, relentlessly looking.
Yeah.
I did call like expired listings and, no luck, but I don't know, just changing the area, like
Okay.
thinking a little bit outside the box, not the best maybe commute for them at the moment, but where she works at a bank and she can change to one of their other locations. And so we were able to, he works from home some of the days, so it's not like he's commuting every day. So it was able to work out in that way. Their son was graduating middle school, so it was like the perfect time for him to change like districts and stuff like that.
So I heard you say like, oh, I was cold calling expireds and it didn't really work. I would argue to say that like, like if you seek, you shall find thing, right? Like once you start taking the steps in the right direction, like if you want to go to California, like you just got to start walking. Like you'll get there, right?
Yeah.
You might make a couple wrong turns, but I think that like just doing the activities gets you there. People say like, Joe, how do you sell so many houses or whatever? And everyone's looking for the silver bullet, but it's like all the things that you do, right? And so for me, it sounds like you like have a routine. You're like making your phone calls, you're doing the research, you're like connecting with people on a personal level, and all these things are like, it's a lot. All that stuff's like really, you're a talented person. Like that's hard to do those things and pulling all that stuff together. So in this market, as difficult as it is, you found them exactly what they're looking for, and you were even able to negotiate, and you were able to get them a house with 2 grants. Do you remember what types of grants those were by any chance?
No, they were through. Like I said, she worked for a bank. It was Bank of America.
Sure.
And it was through the bank.
Perfect.
And I'm
So
not.
she did the research. So you had to find the right house. You had to negotiate FHA, or even if it was conventional, you had to negotiate it with grants, which means there's really no down payment money, correct?
No, and we didn't know.
So you're not putting any money down, right? Like, hey, we want to buy this house. We're not putting any money down. I swear to God, someone's going to give us money for this. And you were able to put it all together.
Yeah.
Good job. That's
It's a
not
little
easy.
bit scary.
But you did it, right? Mm-hmm. So many realtors would have like just balked from that or not worked with that client. Or not been able to put it together or not been able to find the house, but you did.
Yeah.
Good job.
I like stuff like that.
You like a challenge?
Yeah.
Of course you do. Yeah, you're a winner. Yeah, you're a winner. Oh my goodness, you're a winner. What was the first concert that you ever went to?
The Bengals.
Really? Holy shit, now we're talking. Only Dad says that word. Where was this?
PNC Art Center.
Wow. Do you remember what year it was?
No. I think I was like 9, so I don't know.
So,
1988, maybe?
Dude,
Oh my God.
how
Vintage.
how good are the Bengals, for real?
They did Walk Like an Egyptian.
It's the best song. It's the best song. So, do you remember the singer's name?
No.
You don't.
Belinda Carlisle? No.
Boy. All right. So, all right. Let's.
You're from music background, so.
Well, I also. So, can I tell you where I'm going with this one? Singer of the Bengals' name is Susanna Hoff.
Okay.
Do you remember she had this like famous like eye roll thing? Like, I have a huge crush on her. Is what I'm getting at. Like, she is my girlfriend in my head, right? Can you pull up? Ethan, can you pull up Susanna Hoff eyes? Susanna Hoff, who is the singer of the Bengals. So she, right there,
down
there it
there,
is. The bottom, yeah, there it is, right there, dude. Yeah, dude, that's my girlfriend, right? Does that make sense to you?
Sure.
whatever, dude. That's like so. Susanna Hoff is still like, look at that picture right there of her playing a guitar, side eye. That's what I'm talking about. So you saw that live, is what I'm getting at,
I
right?
did.
You saw that live,
Yeah.
right? Can you pull up a Bangles hit songs? This is cool. I love.
Oh, the Eternal Flame.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, here. Manic Monday.
Yeah.
Manic Walk Like an Egyptian. Hazy's Shade of
Yeah,
Winter.
that's a good one.
Oh my God. In Your Room. That's my favorite one, right? I love it in your room at night. Right? So so it's 1988. That's like peak Bangles.
Yeah.
And you're listening to those songs.
Yeah.
Damn, that's awesome. Okay, so back to. All right, thank you, Milo. Milo's singing along with us. Back to Belinda Carlisle. Do you know what band she sang for? So
The Go-Go's.
correct.
Yes.
Very Bangles adjacent,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Oh my God. Those are both awesome bands. Did you see the Go-Go's?
No.
No. Is it weird? Belinda Carlisle, no secret. I have a crush on her as well. When she did her solo album. What was it like? What was her song? Belinda Carlisle. Can you pull that up? Belinda Carlisle hit song.
I know somebody that knows her.
Really?
Yeah.
What's her? Can you quick tell me her phone number?
No.
Okay.
I probably could get it off
Heaven
of
is a place
Facebook.
on earth, right? Remember that song?
Yes.
Ooh, heaven is a place.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So 5th grade me, Heaven is a Place on Earth, like that and like Paula Abdul was like what I was down with, right? Like that's like what I was down with, right?
Paula Abdul.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
I don't sing karaoke.
You don't sing karaoke?
Do you think I would sing karaoke?
No. What? Okay. What? Can I ask you another fun question?
Go ahead.
What famous person have you met?
I don't know. I have to think about that one.
Who know? Okay, let's go back to.
I have to think about that.
All right. So who knows Belinda Carlisle?
Oh, I taught in Jersey City
Uh-huh.
for 10 years, and it was the world language teacher.
Uh-huh.
His name Gunther.
Uh-huh.
He was like obsessed with her, but they're actually like he has pictures of her with her all the time on
Wow.
his Facebook page.
Really?
From back in 2003 to now, still.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. All right. Well, I'm looking up some questions. By the way, Adrian, is there anything?
I'm trying to think of who I met that was famous.
Hold on 1 second.
I don't think I ever met anybody famous.
Is there any questions you want to ask me?
Oh,
You don't have to.
no, I don't. If I think of one, who did you meet famous?
The first one that pops into my head is Bill Murray when I was a kid. So
He's the best.
He's the best. So my dad used to take me to see the New York Mets in Queens, and we would go to Shea Stadium, and there was like a door you could wait outside of where the players would come out, and I'd
Yeah.
always have a baseball, and we'd always get signatures. It was really awesome. And then one dude, Bill Murray just came out of that door, right? He just came out, and my little sister was with us, and she kept screaming, "It's Bob, it's Bob!" Like, because what about Bob had like come out at that point or whatever? And I ran over to him, and he looked like the most homeless person I'd ever seen, right? And it was so funny because I had a baseball and I had a ticket from the game, and I wanted him to sign my dad pushed me to get his autograph. I was a kid, and I didn't want him to sign my baseball because that was just for my baseball players. And I had a ticket, and I was like, "Can I have your autograph?" And he like grabbed the baseball and signed on like a sweet spot. And I remember it, like bummed me out. I remember being like, "Dude, Bill Murray, dude, that's not for you, dude. That's for like my favorite baseball player." And then I'm trying to think if there's anyone else. That's the one that like sticks out. I'm sure I used to tour with bands, so there were like people that I would meet, like like Chuck D from like Public Enemy, and like there'd be all these there'd just always be people around. It was pretty cool, but I'll play it cool. I wouldn't like bother them, you know what I mean? So I lived in Asbury Park for a long time, right on Cookman Avenue, and Bruce Springsteen was like always around. Like
That's
he was
cool.
like my wife, Nicole, my wife, would be like dancing with him, like at the bar underneath of our apartment, like doing tequila shots. Like right before Asbury like blew up. This is probably like 2014, 4, 5, 6, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he was always around. So that was really, really cool. That was really cool. So
Yeah.
he would be like, yeah, he would just play the Wonder. You'd be riding your bike past the Wonder Bar, and he'd be like playing. He'd be like playing. You'd hear Pink Cadillac, and you'd be like, you'd be like this. And it just was like really, 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 really cool. Do you have a guilty pleasure song that you like?
You're getting me questions that I have to think about.
That's okay.
I do like OPP.
Yeah, that is awesome. I love that song too. Oh my god, I do. I'm a huge Naughty by Nature fan. Like actually,
I do. And Jump Around.
hell yeah, those are two really great songs.
Yeah.
So do you like 90s hip hop in general, or
Yeah.
just those? Yeah, you do, right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And reggae. from
Yes.
then. Yeah. Oh,
Me
not
too.
now.
Back then,
Yeah.
right? Or like Toots and the Mayhalls or Bob Marley, stuff like that. No. What kind of reggae?
Like I don't know. It was
Okay.
like there was a DJ that we grew up listening to, DJ First Class, and he used to have cassette tapes, with
Yeah.
mixes. So it was just like
Is that like a local Jersey City?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
DJ First Class. You could look him up on YouTube.
I'm going
and
to.
play his. I probably have his mixtape still.
He's gonna look up DJ First Class right now.
He would. My husband knew him.
This is so fun.
They used to skateboard together,
Play that mix real
like
quick.
at house parties and stuff.
Is that what it looked like?
Yeah, it would have like a typed up in the cassette, you know. DJ First Class.
Listen to this intro.
Look, Union City. I was in 8th grade in '93.
So you're on the mean streets of Jersey City picking up bootleg reggae
40s.
cassette tapes. Oh my god. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, this is so awesome.
Yep.
Oh shit! Wait a minute, motherfucker!
That's awesome. So look who posted that. Polo Rican, right? And it's got 20,000 subscribers. So I have a feeling that if you go to YouTube and you pull up DJ First Class from Jersey City, you're gonna look at the comments. I bought this mixtape at his music store on Bergen Line Ave in Union City in the
Yeah.
90s. Wow, good memories.
Yeah.
So we're picking these up. We're picking these up. Where did you buy these?
I got mine from the Hudson Mall, which I don't even know if they have stores anymore, but there was a music store, like a mom and pop music store.
Really?
That had all different like DJs. Like they had, normal. Like I got like Vanilla Ice and.
Sure.
But they also had like mixed people. Yeah.
That is so cool.
House music and yeah.
So you'd go to the Hudson City Mall, it's called?
Just Hudson Mall.
Hudson Mall.
It's in Jersey City, obviously.
And it was a mom and pop record store, and then maybe like local artists would
Yeah.
bring in their stuff,
Yeah.
and then they would have it and sell it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so cool. And so, how much would you pay for a mixtape? You think?
Oh my gosh, I don't remember. Maybe like $10. Maybe I don't know.
And then, how did you listen to the mixtape? Would you have a Walkman? Did you have like a?
The beat.
Tell me, I want to know.
Box.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, you had a big boombox.
Well, my sister did and my brother did.
Wow.
So.
You were so cool.
Yeah, I
And
was
then-
cool because I had older siblings.
That's so true, right? How did you find out about the mixtapes and the DJs from your old?
No, from hanging out.
Really?
We would go to this, like, certain people's houses were a little bit more freedom. And we would, in particular, go to this one house and we would just play music and
And drink 40s.
dance. And the mom would come downstairs and go, I know what you guys are doing. And I would sleep over their house and I knew why I was sleeping there and I shouldn't have been. But that was the place to go.
So I feel like I grew up at the Jersey Shore. It was suburbs, kind of nerdy. I feel like Jersey City is way cooler to grow up in.
it was
In
good.
1993 or whenever that mixtape
Yeah.
said it came out.
Yeah. I used to go to New York, the Village, take the trains.
Tell me about that. So like,
fun.
did you? So can I piece this together? So I'm in love with like I got to go to New York City. I was into punk music, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I got to go and I caught the tail. So I caught the tail end of like CBGBs, the Wetlands, Coney Island High, the Continental, the Ritz, Roseland, right? Like none of those are here anymore, right?
No.
So you recognize.
Did you go to the Limelight?
You did, right?
I did.
So we don't have to talk how old we are. I'm 44.
So am I.
Okay,
When's your birthday?
dude, I just wasn't. So my birthday is September.
Mine's July. So I'm older than you.
Okay, so not okay. So this is exciting to talk about because of your proximity to Manhattan, you just knew about it probably since you were a kid,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So I was at the shore and like we just didn't really go we didn't go anywhere, do anything. So I didn't really learn about like Manhattan and like music, and I didn't realize what was 40 miles or 50 miles north until I was probably like later in high school, right? So around 16 is when I was like, oh wow, there's a train in Point Pleasant. I can ride my bike to it. That'll bring me to Penn Station if I figure it out. And then once I'm at Penn Station, I can just go do cool stuff, right?
That's a hike.
Correct. But you could be in the city in 20 minutes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so, no, tell me about the Limelight.
So the first time I went, I was not old enough, and there was this there was a particular person that would do the gate, like well known, like drag queen, and we were all online, and some people were old enough, and I was not, and I got up to the gate, and he said, "Where's your ID?" And I went, "I don't have it." And he said, "Walk around the block and come back in about 10 minutes."
Really?
And they let me in.
Wow. Can you pull up the bouncer at the Limelight?
And then the next time I went, I was actually with my husband, and I was pregnant with my daughter.
Really?
Yeah.
So, by the way, for those that don't know, the Limelight is like the legendary like dance
It's like
club.
a mall now. It has like stores and stuff.
So like if
It
you
was
go
fun.
so like if you go back a little bit further, there's like Danceteria, right? Have you heard of that one?
No, I haven't.
That was like if you read the Beastie Boys book, they talk a lot about like all the clubs they hung out at, and obviously they're older, right? So
Yeah.
like that's cool. And so there's all these times, and so that was like, yeah, the Limelight. I'd never been there, man, but that's like where like Madonna played her first show. Was like at the Limelight, right? Like you just like all these things that
Good
like
times.
yeah, totally.
Good times.
What were other fun things that you did in the city? Were you allowed to go to the city, or did you sneak into the
Yeah.
city?
No, I was allowed to go to
Really?
the city. Yeah.
At what age?
I think maybe the first time I went, I was like probably 14 or 15.
That means you like got on the PATH train and went over by yourself. Does that sound right?
Yeah. We would walk to the path or take a bus, and then take the path to Christopher Street or and just walk around. Go to the stores, the Pink Pussycat. We would go to all these.
It was so exciting, right? So
was
I would go
so
to Christopher
cool.
Street, and then I would walk to St. Mark's. And I was like, we were punk rockers, so there was like Coney Island High was there. I remember St. Mark's Pizza was like my favorite pizza, right? And then we would hang out. There was a store called Trash and Vaudeville. It was like the punk rock store where you buy
Okay.
like T-shirts and belts and stuff like that. Yeah, it's not there. It's crazy to go there now. It's all just like Starbucks and like
Yeah.
just like nothing that's awesome.
Yeah, no, it was really cool back.
What year? So when you're 14 going there for the first time, what year would that have been?
93, 94. Like the summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was still gritty. Like Giuliani was probably like just about to like take over the city, right? And like clean it all up. Because the 80s are like gnarly. It's just what you did. It's just what you did.
I had to take 2 buses to get to my high school.
Really?
Yeah. Nobody took me. I had rain, snow, and it was not in the best of neighborhood. Like the stores had like bulletproof glass.
Wow.
Like the deli.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
So Jersey City was probably gnarly then, right?
Sure.
I don't know. I'm from the suburbs. I don't know. Like I was in Point
That's how I
Pleasant,
grew
Point Pleasant
up.
Brick, being like, "Hey,
No, that's how I
do you guys
grew
want to go to Brave New World today?" You know, like, that's
the
like,
store.
but that's like what we did.
Yeah.
And you're like
No,
going
we
to the
had
Limelight
fun. No.
at 16 years old, right?
I might have been 17, but I was not 18. I was not old enough.
You needed at CBGB's you had to be 16 and you needed a photo ID, and they
Yeah.
would accept like your high school ID, but they would just let anybody in there as well. That was really exciting to go and see like punk bands at CBGB's like
Yeah.
in 1996, 1997. That was cool. Damn, that's awesome. Any other cool New York stories?
I gotta think.
Say no.
No more New York stories.
No, my
I had a good childhood. I did. I had a lot of fun growing up. A lot.
Yeah, my best friend Sean never bought weed in Washington Square Park for sure. Like that never happened at all.
Wait, Sean was your best friend?
Mm-hmm.
Sean?
Yeah.
Surfer Sean?
No, I'm thinking about a different Sean. Sean that I know that will.
Next door neighbor Sean?
No, those are friends of ours in California.
Sean?
Well, Adrian, this is kind of fun, right?
You didn't know I was this cool, did you?
I think that you're the coolest. I did not know. And it all started with the what was your first concert question?
The Bengals.
Yeah. Ethan, nobody wants to hear that boring real estate shit, right?
This is what they want to hear.
So when I was interviewing Milo, and then Ethan goes, I go, this is great content. And he goes, do you remember what you said?
Is better than boring real estate. 90% of our.
He said it's I think it's a lot of our crew too.
It's a good platform. It's definitely the best platform for that market. But when I'm in at 9 in the morning and I was up all night last night editing Jersey Property Group's walkthroughs, it burns in me a little. But it's all good content.
Oh my god, that's funny. All right, cool. Is there anything you?
Join the podcast?
Sure. Milo, do you want to ask Adrian a question?
No.
No. Okay.
What was your first concert?
I don't remember. I was like 3.
Yeah, it was called Punk in the Park. It was at the OC Fairgrounds. And then there was a band that was cursing a lot, and then he was cursing the next day like crazy. They said they just kept saying the F word,
Just
right?
do it in your head. Just do it in your
Oh my
head.
god, there's this band called Anti-Flag, and they kept saying the F. Milo, stay, watch out. Just stay right there, Milo. You can talk to us from there. But they just kept saying the F word, and he was really young. He was 3 or 4, and the next day that's all he was saying.
No. Hi, Daddy.
Don't say the curse words, Milo. That's not right. So, Adrian, thanks for doing this. This is super fun. Yeah, you are cool.
Thanks. You too.
Thanks. Yeah, that's awesome. No, I'm glad. I'm really grateful to have learned
She's
more about
crossing
you.
her fingers. No, you just let go right now.
You're so funny, Milo.
You're like this.
So Milo, give me a second so I can finish this up. All right, buddy, I love you. You're the best. So I sincerely enjoy being in business with you. Thank you for taking the opportunity to join us at Oz Group. And I know that it's a wild ride. Like we're building this thing. We're like trying to figure this thing out, and like you're a huge part of it, and like it's been really fun. And it's been a lot of in the year that you've been here. There's been a lot of changes. There's been a lot of people coming, people going, and things like that. And we're just really trying to figure out who we are, and you're like a huge part of that. And I just wanted to say thank you.
Thanks. I'm glad to be here too.
We're just a baby. Like we don't really know. Like Christel's like, we need culture. We need to blah blah blah. I'm like, what? We're making it right now. You know, like we don't know who we are. You know, like we don't really know who we are. And like really, the core members. I absolutely consider you a core member of our group and what we're doing. And
Thank you.
Yeah, 100% thank you. And like you are what we are. And it's just it's a really cool thing, and we're figuring it out. And I'm just glad you're a part of it. So thank you.
I'm happy to be.
Cool.